everyone, and welcome to the Contingency Plan Podcast. My name is Jedi Master Dave, and with me, as always, is Darth Austin.
Hello, everyone.
How many of you thought our threat was real? That we've been perpetuating for weeks? The show is over.
We're done. This is just an announcement that we're done. Did you not read the description?
You said you were talking about Out of the Shadows. No. Yeah. So back after a week, we could not make anything work last week.
No.
Nothing
No,
worked.
we really could. Our texts were, it's actually kind of funny. It's like, hey, man, I can't do Friday. It's like, I can't do the weekend, so see you next week.
I don't remember. What did we have going on? I was doing something Friday. And then I remember I had
Shows
lunch
how
with
important our plans were.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I was out Friday. I remember I had lunch with a friend I hadn't seen in a while on Saturday. And then I think we were trying to do Sunday, and for whatever reason, I think you had plans or whatever, and we couldn't do that. And
Well,
then,
I can go ahead and tell you how important my plans were. They're not very important at all, but very nerdy. I had some stuff to do in the morning, so I think my window was like between noon and 2, and then I was going to play D&D with a few people.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go.
And then we ended up losing power and didn't play anyway, but at that point, it was already like 4 o'clock. It's like, I'm not recording now. I'm not even going to tell them.
No, well, and it didn't really matter. I mean, I think by that point I was like, I don't really want to. Well, the other thing too is I
fished
actually
that book it was Friday when I fished the book, and I was like cramming to finish it, so I really wasn't even paying much attention to the end, honestly.
No, I'm with you.
And
Well,
I wasn't in it.
No, I get that. And I actually had to cancel on my buddy Chase, These Are the Voyages, because we were going to talk about Lower Decks on Saturday. And like I had a few things come up. I was like, I'm not going to be able to make your time window, unfortunately. So I kind of got to back out. And then,
Right.
And then again, I had a friend who I was going to hang out with too. So yeah, it was a weird weekend. I mean, it wasn't a bad weekend, but it was just like nothing really
there
aligned.
was no time for it.
Yeah.
And after how many weeks we've done this consistently, that's not a big deal.
Well, I don't even remember the last time we skipped a week.
I mean, even if we skipped a week, you always did a power half hour or something. So
True.
Really,
yeah,
more
I
falls
guess.
on your shoulders than mine when we can't make something work.
Yeah, but that being said, those like little half-hour shows were on comics, and you weren't reading the comics at the time.
Right. Yeah.
Now we're reading the comics, so it's not like. And listen, you guys know this. We're not really like the clickbait theory channel.
No.
And I don't really want to do that. I mean, not
In fact,
that some
usually
of those,
one of us will get angry if we talk about theories.
Yeah,
It's
true.
like-
But like, I mean, some of them can be interesting, and we've talked about a couple of things. But I don't. That would have been really the only thing I could have drove on, and I just don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want to do that with this
If
show.
the art's
I mean,
not in it, why make the content,
Exactly. And I mean, I have buddies with other shows that I could talk theories on with them, and then they have their content. But yeah, we usually try and ground our stuff in something more tangible than, the 18th time Kathleen Kennedy is supposed to be gone from Star Wars, and, Dave Filoni ascended to the heavens, and, and all that good sort of jazz. Oh, no, Dave's bad, whatever.
And honestly, changing things up for us isn't the easiest thing either, because when you talk about like, well, we could do this book, it's like, well, do we have time to really dive into this book and properly digest it and then regurgitate a decent review afterwards? Like, it's kind of like how South Park makes their show once a week. You only have so much time to prep ahead.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, we're back again. Again, we're going to talk about Out of the Shadows. Written by Justina Ireland as a part of the High Republic. I guess this is technically considered like second wave, right? I don't think this is first wave anymore.
Yes, and technically it's also considered young adults, which I will argue till I'm blue in the face.
We'll get into that for sure. So I guess because we never really say this, there will be spoilers ahead. So if you haven't read the book and you really want to read it, don't listen to the later half of this. But I mean, to be honest with you, I think I think we have some pretty strong opinions, and I think I'm going to be talking more about characters than story.
Well,
But
what story?
well, true. But before we get into that, so how's your week been aside from dodging
2 weeks?
making a show?
2 weeks or 1
No,
week?
I only care about this week.
Good. I don't remember last week. No, not that great, honestly. I had a pretty nasty sinus infection that started Sunday afternoon and persisted on to yesterday. I finally went to the doctor Thursday, and they really didn't even want to say I had a sinus infection. They just wanted to say it was COVID, and they didn't really have a very good... Oh, yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. Well, I gotten tested for COVID twice before I went to the doctor.
Yeah.
Just kind of out of precaution, and, my manager wanted me to do it because it's been spreading around our shop as well, too. People have COVID, so first thing we thought. So I got violated in the nose a couple of times and was negative. So I went there. I'm like, look, I just got tested. I don't think I have COVID. I just want to know what I have. Ton of symptoms, aches and pains, fatigue, all that good stuff.
Right.
They're like, well, I guess it's a sinus infection. Here's some medicine. It's like, you guess.
Yeah, that is kind of funny because, like, I wonder how certain doctors are handling that because not everything is going to be COVID. I mean, the fact of the matter is,
it can't be.
Yeah, and I mean, me and you both have had like a history of like allergy related things and sinus infections, and like for me in the past, I've had like ear infections and stuff like that. So it's not like everything is going to be COVID. And granted, it could be, and it's a decent idea to be cautious about that. But yeah, I have to do a wellness screening for work at some point for my insurance, so I don't have to pay extra. And I kind of need to get in to like, check all the crap, that I don't really care about. But at least I can go in there and like, weigh less than I did the last time. So that's good.
Yeah.
So.
Oh no, I have been punched in the face with the realization I need to start working out because I finally hit the 230 mark, so I really got to start working on myself. Man. It hurt.
Well, you're definitely taller, and the funny thing, and this is like getting really in depth. The detail guys talking about our own details.
For those guys that are trying to like, well, we have videos out there. I guess you don't have to sketch us.
I guess so. Yeah.
Descriptors,
Well, the thing is like, so you're a little taller than I am. But I think both of us like carry weight like way better than most people do. So like
I hide it in my thighs.
Yeah. I've been lifting a lot in this time. But no, dude, it's one of those things, and I've even told other people this too because I felt that COVID weight pretty bad. And then I just started going at it again, basically doubling my activity of what I was doing, effectively rolling in at least 10 miles a day in movement, which includes, actual workout routine, but just moving, getting off your butt and on your feet, lifting a little bit more. I've had the rowing machine for a while as well. But I'll tell you what, there is no quick cure for it. You just have to do it, and you have to change your diet around.
You didn't get there quickly. You're not going to get out of it quickly. That's the way I look at it.
Exactly. But important thing is diet. You have to change your diet around. Yeah. I find the intermittent fasting works really well for me. Putting the psyllium husk down there really helped out a lot. And then, getting away from quick food, making
Wendy's.
Making your food. It does a world of difference. Even like with pizza, like a homemade pizza just has so much less calorie count than a pizza from a restaurant. And this is coming from somebody who managed a pizza restaurant once for about a year. I love pizza, but it's all carbs. It's all just carbs, and the breakdown of carbs is different from breaking down protein and blah, 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 blah. I'm not a nutritionist. Don't take my advice. However, it's good universal advice. If you're feeling lethargic, man, if you're feeling bloated, hit that intermittent fasting. Diet. Try it. Just try it. And then you got to increase that activity level. You just got to get active. Yep. Whatever way you do it, you just have to do it and then sustain it. And it's not quick for most people. Just don't get
Habits
discouraged.
are hard to form. It was hard. You know what? The way I look at it, I never was really much of a fast food person, but since the move, the process of moving has made it very difficult to cook, so I've gotten into the habit of eating out a lot.
Well, even where you were living previously it was like it was kind of difficult for you guys to sort of just cook every day
yeah.
too. And now that you've got moved in and you're away from sort of some of the stress of moving and everything else, I mean, I think you're well on your way to to some better things there. It's just one of those things like driving
Breaking the
home.
habits now.
Yeah, driving home. Do I pick something up? Do I?
Is
I'll
it
tell
my
you
reward
something
for having a rough day?
Exactly. But I'll tell you, like, one of the things that I've done is that instead of like stopping at, say, I don't know, just like we'll use Wendy's as an example, go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
Don't do like a whole week's worth of grocery shop. Maybe go day to day. Like, just go in. It's like, I have to have food. What do I want? I'm going to make tacos. Go in there and get tortilla shells and meat and stuff like that. Just do it every day or do it every other day. You force yourself to stay away from the Wendy's and figure out how you can cook quick meals too, because half the time it's just a length of time to prep stuff,
Right. And honestly, that also introduces, buy pre-prep food. You're saving the money on not going out to eat. Save the time. Don't cut it.
Yeah, exactly, for sure.
I even had, like, the other day we were grocery shopping. I was getting mushrooms. Like, the price difference between pre-cut and not pre-cut mushrooms. I thought about it for a second, like, it's more for pre-cut. It's like, but what is my time worth? Do I want to cut those mushrooms? Do I want to clean them? No, I don't.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there, and it's usually not that much of an increase in price, but yeah, I'm with you.
No, it was like 10 cents.
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
a stupid amount, But no,
Yeah,
other than
man.
that, it's been I don't know. It's hard for me to stay in bed unless I'm like dying sick, like man cold.
Yep.
So I got some projects done. I built a little floating desk, so I have an actual recording area.
Nice.
You're the only one that will appreciate this. You can actually see me now. I have actual lighting.
Yeah,
I don't look like I'm in a cave anymore.
Yeah. No doubt.
But got some stuff
Good.
done around the house, just little projects. So trying to
Nice.
keep sane.
Yeah, that's solid. And we were both talking before we started recording about just things that we're going to try and get out and do. We live in Ohio, so I went down and saw a crew game, little MLS soccer there, which was honestly one of the best times I've had in a while. I definitely want to look at season tickets for that next year because it was sick. So that was fun. I'm going to a Clippers game this week, so little AAA ball. And then we're both chatting about getting Cleveland Browns tickets, which we have to buy on resale. But still, I think we're going to at least try and go to a game this year. We've got Coheed and Flippin' Cambria, coming up in September that we want to go to, which is when you mentioned that 2 weeks ago when we were watching the preseason game, it just made me laugh inside. It's like, God, am I really going to go see Coheed after like almost 10 years or whatever? But yeah, let's do it. And then I don't know. Well, you're going to come up for a crew game, so we were looking at some advanced stuff. So yeah, we still need to get out on the trail at some point too. And there's a lot. I mean, it's been so oppressively hot that sucked, but fall's around the corner, and some of my favorite time of year. I'll tell you this: I did go to the store yesterday, and the pumpkin spice is already out.
Oh yeah,
like the Halloween candy was out.
Everything. I
mean, what are we doing?
You forget which month you're in.
I mean, it's still August.
Yes,
for another
I was
couple
picking
days.
I was picking beer the other day. I grabbed a Yingling, and I was like, "Oh God, it's pumpkin
the
Yingling."
pumpkin?
No, why is this here?
Ew, that is weird, man. That is so weird that it's way too early for that crap. But it's already out. It's already out. It's nuts. I don't know what to do about it, man.
Well, imagine when Christmas is going to start this year then.
Yeah.
Literally like a week before Halloween, probably.
Well, and unfortunately, with the economy the way it's kind of been, I'm sure a lot of retailers are really looking to hit those holiday numbers early and often.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what to say about that anymore. So, but good stuff though. So let's go ahead and get this book over with, man. Let's talk.
Yeah.
Let's talk Out of the Shadows. I think we can probably sum up the story fairly quick.
Can we though?
I mean,
do we know it well
well,
enough?
Yeah, well, that's the other thing too. Is like it's now been a week removed of me even going over the book, and I have forgot stuff, but essentially what we have is we have a new Nihil plot, and they are basically experimenting with gravity well generator, which is kind of something we saw in the new Jedi Order with the Yuuzhan Vong, and that can pull ships out of hyperspace. We have the sort of aftermath from Rising Storm, the attack of the Nihil. We have scenes on Starlight Beacon. We have the dichotomy between a young master or a young, Jedi Knight and her young apprentice. We have, a couple of new characters, including Sylvester Yarrow, who is, a scoundrel of a hauler, and we have a little bit more into the sort of politicking between powerful families, the Santekas and the Grafs. And it all moved at a literal snail's pace for me.
It did. It really did. And I listened to this at 1.8 times speed on Audible, and it still felt so slow. It's only like a 7-hour book at that speed.
I think in total it was like a 10-hour, which is definitely less than most of them that we've been going over. So I guess let's talk some character. No, actually, you know what we're going to talk about? We're going to talk about rewrites here for a second, because apparently we've been pronouncing everything wrong, and I'll be honest, it grated at me so hard in this book. So the Nihil had been called the Nile, which nihilist, Nile, okay. Yeah. I just really, it annoyed me a lot. We had the Drengir, which we had traditionally called the Drengir.
Yeah, which sounds so much better.
Yeah, the Drengir. No, it's Drengir. It just sounds like a sound. Drengir. It sounds like we're down in Louisiana in the bayou, Oh, actually, have you I know you're not a big social media guy, and I'm very, very little tiny bit on Instagram, but there have been these videos going around of these like college girls, hi, my name is blah, 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 and I'm the University of LSU.
Yes, I've seen that. Yeah.
It's like, go Tigers, and they're just like literally talking as fast as possible. And then you have like some Cajun dude talking behind him, or something like that. It almost makes me think of that. It's like, hi, I'm the Dringer, and I'm going to beat you. And then, it's like mumble mouthing through a word.
Right.
So I thought that was kind of interesting. That, and then Marchion Row, which we've actually talked about before. That is what was it Cavan? I don't remember if it was Cavan Scott or who is our other writer? Charles Soule. I don't remember which one it was, but one of the two of them had went on Twitter and said that they wrote it to be Marchion Row, which I
personally, I don't like it.
I don't like it. I mean, but it's not my choice. If it's their character and they want it Marchion, okay. But I didn't really care for it. I think Marchion makes more sense to me, just phonetically.
Well, where's the other one that makes more sense to you?
Yeah. Well, then we had Pan Ida. When it's been Ada. Throughout this, which I thought was a very strange pronunciation. I didn't get that at all. Yeah. Like an Idaho potato or something like that. What else? Was there anything else that we're missing pronunciation-wise? That was all that comes to mind.
I feel like Senteca was pronounced differently as well.
I don't remember.
It was like Senteca instead of Santeca. I might be wrong there. But.
Yeah, you are jogging a memory that I won't be able to bring to the surface, but I think it was just the reader's inflection on something that they had pronounced. It wasn't like it was pronounced differently, but it was just her reading of it, which again...
And we're so used to one voice, it's always jarring.
Yeah, but I'm not discrediting the... actually, let me give her a name here real quick, because I actually do.
She had a good voice. I mean, it was good.
Keylor Lee, Keylor Keylor Lee.
Sure, why not?
She's It looks like she does a lot of younger kids, but she's done some things.
Has she done anything else in High Republic?
Doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like she's done. Let me click to second page here. It doesn't look like she's done anything Star Wars now. She does some Minecraft books.
Oh boy.
And a book called Real Men Knit. I'm going to be honest. I almost wish I could knit. Now, I can sew. Like, I can, sew things. But, like, knitting, it's the patterns. Eventually, I would mess up that pattern. But, yeah, she does a lot of, like, younger kids sort of things here, which is interesting. But anyway, so, again, I'm not dogging her. I'm not saying that she did, like, a terrible job. It's just that some of the pronunciations, which I assume are fed to her, were a bit jarring. The Nile, because we keep saying it so often, it was like, I really hate this. I really hate this. Because to me, it'll always be Nihil.
Yeah. I only understood that translation that pronunciation when it was an actual Nihil saying it, because, you had quite a few that had like that gruff Australian style accent. So Nile kind of made sense a little bit. Almost like a Kano in the Mortal Kombat movie type accent.
Yeah,
I could see him saying that.
Yeah, and again, it's not egregious, but it didn't really hit right for me. The Drengir, Drenger, that was not interesting to me. Pan Ida, that didn't make any sense to me. But yeah, Marchion is apparently what we're gonna. I might still say Marchion. Sorry, whoever.
And that wasn't even the jarring thing. That's where it really became evident with our different reader, like his voice. Honestly, I feel like I would almost like Marchion more if her voice always did the talking for him.
well, she didn't do the inflection from the prior books. So
which I hate.
Kind of angsty, halting, breathy voice
I need to poop
Mark
and I can't.
Thompson does. So that was something. The other one was we actually had Yaddle in this book as well. And Yaddle, I don't think we've ever had any media where she's talked or spoken. But in this, she read Yaddle, which I assume is how it's written in the book, just like normal basic, not in Yoda's sort of speech pattern. Yeah. So that was a bit strange to me. I don't know who made that decision. I don't know if it's
just we can't be consistent with Yoda's race or Yoda's just unique.
Yeah, exactly. So that was interesting. That was interesting to me.
I wish we would just get the Yoda thing out of the way so we can move on.
I assume we will. But yes, I happen to.
I feel like it's going to happen soon enough.
True. So let's talk about some other main characters. We have Vernestra is back. Vernestra Rowe, who I think we both were really impressed with in a Test of Courage. Both liked her. We have...
It's always cool.
Yes, exactly. We have her Padawan, Emery Conteros,
which we really didn't like, but honestly, I like him more after this one. A little bit.
Yeah, I think we kind of understand him a bit more, but he's a touchy-feely Jedi.
Well, we never really got into the empath stuff in the last book, so that was kind of nice that they expounded on that.
Exactly. We have Reith Silas, who was Into the Dark.
We liked.
We do like Reith. His master, Comac Vitus, which I never knew his last name. It was just Master Comac.
Yeah.
I don't like his last name. He's just Comac. He's one word.
Yeah.
But so Comac was in here, who is apparently like a sex god for everybody. It's like, oh, look at him. Look at him. We introduce a new character, Silvestri Yarrow, or Sil. And then her, by the end of the book, girlfriend, Jordana Sparkburn.
Santeca.
Yeah, but Sparkburn, right. That's her smuggler's name. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. So Jordana Sparkburn, who is a part of the Santeca clan, more than likely, fathers.
We're just cousins.
Yeah. We do have a couple of other little support characters. Xylan Graf, we meet along the way. Avar Chris is in this book. Stellan Geos is in this book. Uh,
I think we do get Elzar for a very brief moment.
yeah, I don't really remember. I don't remember Elzar. It says he's mentioned in here, so there we go. I don't know in what capacity. But by and large, those are kind of our big ones, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then we have Nan, who was also in Into the Dark, who is kind of our Nihil, who we thought was kind of interesting in our previous book, Marchion Rowe, who's in here, and then Chancey Yarrow, who is Syl's mother, who is a psychoscientist, apparently.
Who would pick the name Chansey for any character? I just want to know. Like, are
She
you that
is a
oblivious
Pokemon.
to the 90s at all?
She's a Pokemon.
Come on.
Any other characters that you feel we should mention here? Because I don't know that I necessarily. Oh, look at that! They have a picture for Non. Interesting.
Oh, they do. Really? I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, look at that. Interesting. Okay, very cool. Yeah,
We do have Lorna for a short period, and the only reason I really mention her is because she does kind of
We'll talk about Lorna a little bit.
technically call the shots in this book.
Yeah, I am interested to talk a little bit about Lorna as we go along, but let's talk. I don't know. Do you want to talk any in depth in some of the
Oh, wow.
events?
That is not what I was expecting on Nan. Sorry.
Yeah, she looks crazy young, but apparently, I mean, she was young. But
They
yeah,
haven't
that's-
mentioned that a lot, but wow.
Yeah, there you go. So, do you want to do events or do you want to just talk characters? Because
I'd kind of like to get events out of the way because I feel like characters are the strong point.
okay,
Not
well,
necessarily a good thing, but
I feel like I kind of want to breeze through it because I'll be honest, I didn't really think that the events in the book were all that interesting. But basically, we start with Sylvester Yarrow, who is in her ship, the Switchback. She's pulled from hyperspace. Her ship is captured by the Nihil. She goes to Coruscant in order to kind of raise the alarm, and nobody really seems to care until we meet Xylan Graff, who is a rich, like 20-something-year-old model
annoying
guy.
character.
Kind of. I actually
I kind of liked him, honestly.
yeah, he's his personality is like he clearly doesn't necessarily fear anything, but he's also clearly a D-bag
Yeah.
too, you know.
He hides it when he has to, but he is not a great person.
No, not really. But Xylan takes Syl on to basically get information, and there's a whole convoluted story where essentially, just as we're moving along, the Graff family has made a deal with, at first, the Nihil, and then with Chancey Yarrow. Now, Chancey Yarrow, again, Syl's mom, was thought to be killed by the Nihil. But in reality, she was actually, I would almost call it rescued by the Nihil, brought back into the fold, because what she winds up being is like a psychoscientist, like I said earlier, and she wants to make a gravity well generator that you can actually target ships with, which again, that's something we've explored in the old canon series and so forth. No longer canon, Legends stuff.
Yeah.
And what we wind up finding out is that her generator is not really working. It works, but it's indiscriminate. So the idea is that she is double-crossing Marchion Rowe and working with the Graffs, and then someday down the line, she's basically giving unlimited Graff resources to do this somewhere down the line. So I kind of wonder if her story is kind of nixed after this, because basically she's just going to a research facility, essentially.
Right.
And Marchion is out a weapon. Now, on the light side of things, you have Vernestra with her Padawan Emery, and Vernestra's having a kind of a hard time as a master to this young man who is extremely empathic, almost to the point where he's starting to lose touch as a Jedi would say.
Well, it really kind of makes him, I don't want to say useless at moments, but it it's very reminiscent of dealing with Force visions and prophecy, because when it hits, it just cripples you. He can't function multiple times in this book.
Sifo-Dyas, who essentially, for many parts of, because he was hit with such prophecy, was almost useless at times. Yeah.
But he also has this almost automatic power that he can't really control yet, where he takes away people's anxiety, stress, pain.
Yeah.
Which does kind of brings up a philosophical question, even if it's for the greater good, is it okay for us to take these feelings away from people and not give them a choice? We're essentially controlling people with Force, which is more dark side, even though, it's about as light as it gets, really, when you think about Emery's powers.
Yeah, it's kind of one of the best, it's the best of intentions, but you can't just influence people like that. You have to allow them to feel, because the only way that they can get through trauma is to deal with the trauma.
Yeah.
And just taking it away doesn't help them learn. So,
and unfortunately, Emery only sees the bad side of the trauma because he's constantly dealing with it with everyone he meets, so he can't really comprehend this.
Well, then Vernestra is also kind of critical of this power as well. We also learn that Vernestra has a secret power where, while in hyperspace, when she was a Padawan, she gets Force visions.
Yeah, which when you think about it, they're a terrible pair. If, he just gets hit with a empathic bomb on his nervous system and she has a vision, they're just screwed.
Yeah, for sure. Now, they are hanging out at Starlight Beacon in the meditation gardens and doing stuff. When they are recalled to Coruscant, I'm really surprised I'm remembering this much detail.
I am too.
So they're recalled to Coruscant by Stellan to undertake a mission to some sector that people have been dropping out of hyperspace for. And they don't really want to leave. Well, Vernestra doesn't really want to leave. I don't think she thinks she's ready to leave yet, which I can understand. Well, on sort of the way there, that we bump into Reith Silas and Master Comac, who have been basically out there gallivanting around, trying to stay busy because they're both scarred from the stuff as well. That's how they're dealing with it. And we kind of get to see the friendship between Vernestra and Reith, who were friends as Padawans and all that stuff. We get to see Reith's kind of sort of regret that he maybe feels a little left behind because Vernestra was so quick to pass her trials, and then also totally being attracted to her and all that sort of stuff, and her complete ambivalence or obliviousness to that particular feeling. But then the complete understanding of Emery, and almost like he's sort of like being protective of his master.
Yeah, I found that pretty funny.
And they're all kids. I mean, the thing is
they're all the same age.
Essentially, yeah, but they're all just kids, and it's like high school stuff. It's like, you better not like my master, okay?
Yeah, I thought it was funny when he was...
take away your feelings.
I thought it was kind of funny when he was left to his meal and he's thinking about it. It's like, why have I suddenly started thinking of her this way, and why do I now want to know what it feels like to be kissed?
Yeah.
And why am I thinking about Nan now? Stop it.
Yeah, I do think it's interesting that we're really bringing up a lot of those topics which, have been stamped on so much. But they are interesting things to think about, because we've always said that I think one of the weaknesses of the Jedi Order, as we kind of knew it before its sort of downfall in the prequels, is really how they just didn't actually have that real connection with the Force anymore. They had been led astray, and I think some of that was the influence of Palpatine, but I think a lot more of it was just the path that they took as an order. It just wasn't congruent with the will of the Force.
They were fearful of emotion, honestly. And one thing I'll say, I do like that they touch on emotion and love more in this timeline, but I kind of wish they'd go past just relationship stuff and, maybe dive into a Jedi who would like to reconnect with their family, siblings, parents. You
Well,
know.
they got dangerously close to that with Emery because they start talking about his actual family who, gave him up to the order when they
and then they
realized
just
he
couldn't
was
talk
Force
about that
sensitive.
anymore. They just had to throw that away.
Exactly. So, yeah,
He actually remembered some of his life before becoming a student,
Right.
which is kind of rare.
Exactly. So yeah, I think that is interesting, but it's clearly something we're only really touching on, but not really exploring right now. So anyway, we do continue on with our little adventure. They leave Starlight Beacon with Comac and Wreath, and eventually wind up on Coruscant. There's a lot of like council meeting stuff that is somewhat interesting, I suppose. But ultimately, they are confronted with the two converging storylines of Syl and then Vernestra. And, what was the senator's name? She's a Staros. Gira Staros.
Yeah.
So Senator Staros here, who was Avon Staros' mother from A Test of Courage. So she is kind of locked in sort of this stalemate with Xylan and the Graphs, because the Graphs are trying to effectively use a section of space for testing and all that good jazz. Not really their real intention, but they basically need Staros's sign off for them to even go, because what their guise is that we are going out to figure out why the ships are being pulled out. Let us do the research. You have to help us. And Senator Staros uses Vernestra and Emery as a sort of a pawn or a tool to annoy Xylan Graf. Now, Syl, being crazy, like cognizant of all this, is, sort of keys him in there, and everybody's feelings are all over the place, which is understandable. But they wind up doing the mission anyway, and Master Comac and Wreath Silas are invited along. So you have a Jedi Master, you have a Jedi Knight, and two Padawans, Syl, and we kind of didn't really talk about Jordana yet, but like Jordana Sparkburn, Syl's former girlfriend, and then Xylan Graf and his protector thing, which I kind of just pictured as like the big
chair.
No. I don't remember the species, but it was like the thing with the talk box on it, not his dog that likes to be a chair, but the other thing that they apparently the Grafs like have a ton of them. I viewed them as like the Big Hero 6, just the inflatable guy or something like that. It's just totally not right because they had fur, but like picture Big Hero 6 with fur, and then there you go, whatever the heck that thing's name was. The medical balloon. Anyway.
Just start thinking of them as boffins. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's fine. So we have this rather motley crew who are supposed to be undertaking this mission, but it's a huge bait and switch. They wind up going to the Graf homestead, which is a floating asteroid through space. And
then Vernestra just makes a fool of herself, getting all paranoid while there.
We'll talk about individual characters, but you're right. Essentially, the idea is that at this point, the Grafs are still aligned with the Nihil, so they're trying to capture the Jedi. But Syl's okay. We don't want her. Jordana's just like crazy mad, which coincidentally, let's just recap her. So she was I don't remember what her title was, like a deputy or something. Is that what it was?
Yeah, essentially.
But she oversaw or helped oversee a planet as kind of like a protectorate, along with a Jedi who was there as well for the Santeca family. That this planet was just bombarded by near constant attacks by the Nihil. And the last attack, where Vernestra and Jordana had converged, was due to a vision given to Vernestra by Mari Santeca, who wants her to find her little puzzle box.
Which,
that
by
was
the way,
stolen
Mari
by
Santeca
Ugbots.
is now with Nan and Chansey in a space station, kind of being probed and prodded.
Yeah. We'll have to get to Nan too. But anyway, so Jordana winds up leaving the planet because they're going to evacuate it and yada yada, and that's how she's in the story. So after kind of the somewhat botched attempt to incapacitate all the Jedi, which they definitely made it sound in the story like they had, were
They
shooting
just straight
them.
up killed them all.
Yeah, exactly. But they didn't.
I freaked out for a second there. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was kind of a little odd. That would have been an interesting twist to the book.
But
And they're all dead.
Until I realized they literally all got shot in the exact same spot. It's
Yeah.
like, wait.
So they were stunned.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was interesting because the gas the Nihil used in that instance did fog the Jedi's force ability for a while.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't able to connect, which I thought was fascinating. Let's see. What else happened after that? I guess plots were discovered. You threaten the old matriarch of the Graphs. You get a ship.
She's
you go
innocent
off
about it, but obviously is doing something shady.
Yeah. Huge rescue mission to the Nihil ship. Vernestra is able to talk to Mari Santeca, which is kind of cool, but Mari was at the end of her life. Basically her kind of spirit and her body were even disconnected as well. And Mari does pass, but before she does, she gives Vernestra one last path. I don't remember what the place was off the top of my head, but it's supposed to be very important, and I'm sure we'll learn about it later. It's probably Exegol. Who knows?
No, please no.
You must go to Exegol, because in about 200 years, it'll be really important.
Foreshadowing in the greatest degree possible.
So anyway, the Nihil ship is attacked, defeated, and what was very interesting to me is the defeat of the Nihil was basically and seemingly engineered. Like Lorna D. So let's talk about Lorna a little bit, because Lorna is, in quotations, Syl's in quotations aunt.
Yeah,
Auntie Lorna, who taught her how to fight and broke her nose and all that stuff. So Lorna is essentially getting captured on purpose to help perpetuate Chansey's further research. It sort of seemed like a dumb plan to me. And and everything in this book makes Marchion Ro look like a complete dummy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing we didn't have to interact with him more than we had to, because he just...
Yeah, he's just been completely outmaneuvered. Completely outmaneuvered.
In this book, he's an idiot.
Well, I always thought he was an idiot, but
it really shows it off on this. Like,
yeah,
Lorna has complete control at this point.
Exactly. So essentially, we get to the point where the Republic believes that Lorna D is the leader of the Nihil. So they're technically wrong there, but I think that you might get a bit of a drop of guard. You have the Graphs out here doing graph things, even though a lot of their assets were seized. Syl gets a new ship from Xylan, and her and Jordana can go off and do girlfriend stuff because they're totally back together. Vern and Emery are doing good stuff because now they both have secret powers, so they can totally relate. Wonder Twins activate. Wreath is
not at the same time. Not at the same time.
True. Wreath is doing, Wreath stuff. He should probably totally take that Jedi exam to become a knight sometime.
But his master's not worried about it.
Yeah, his master's not worried about it.
Because he needs him to carry books.
Yeah, we get more with Stellan being crazy overworked, so that's not looking good. And then, really, what else? Did we cover the plot?
Pretty much.
Okay.
And we don't get a resolution to whether or not Stellan accepts the Force Whip.
Yeah, true.
Because that was something that she was really worried about. I don't know why. That was brought up 5 or 6 times. It was kind of annoying.
Yeah, I know. That was kind of an interesting thing.
It's like, yes, because a staff lightsaber is okay, but the whip, that's a dark side weapon.
Well, it's just, I guess it's just contrary to typical doctrine of being a defensive weapon as opposed to the whip being, I guess, potentially more offensive weapon. But really, offense and defense is on the beholder or on the carrier. It doesn't have anything to do with in my opinion.
As a combatant, that has to change from time to time. You can't always be on the offensive or defensive, or you get destroyed eventually.
Yeah, true enough. Let's move on, though. I want to talk characters because I was far more interested in character building than I was in the story. Yeah. So I want to start with Vernestra.
Sure.
In my opinion, I think that they made Vernestra a child. I think they did
a great disservice to her completely.
Yeah, which sucks because like I read an interview with Justina Ireland who said that like Vernestra has been she's like her favorite character. I think
that's even worse.
Yeah, well, there was so much of treating her like a child in here. Even when like Comac and Reith went with them, it's clearly no, Master Stellan just it's like we just need more people. Yeah, okay. I'm not saying that Stellan was like worried, but I also think that just the decision in the writing was kind of like not putting confidence in Vernestra. And then even just, I understand her worries and everything, and I don't discount that at all, but I just felt like the almost constant like kid gloves with her got a little bit annoying to me because everything we've read about her, she's just kind of a BA, she was just highly advanced, really interesting character. I don't think the development was overall bad, but I felt like, I don't know. I'm looking for that Steven Seagal, who can just do it.
I mean, honestly, that's probably Avar.
Probably.
And we just haven't gotten enough time with her yet. But I felt like they kind of flipped the script and made her seem like she's extremely book smart, but has no common sense when it comes to street smarts whatsoever. She can't
which I don't agree with.
Function like she's always a step behind. There's even a few comments about her being a pawn and not a very important one.
Yeah.
And I don't know, there are moments where they try to redeem her with that, Emery leans on her quite a bit and that kind of pushes her along. Sure, that's great, but there's just so many times when she's outclassed in such an easy way. It's just disappointing.
Yeah, but I will say, at least in the beginning when they were on that one planet, she did take charge over a master. So I think in a lot of ways, it's like maybe I'm being harsh and maybe it's just learning. It's just her learning and going through things that she hasn't yet. Because there was a part that I wrote down when Comac had a kind of a teaching moment with her that I actually appreciated. I thought it was really good because like I think Comac is one of those people that probably wise. I'm not 100% sure why he's a master, but it seems like masters and knighthoods are just really subjective in this timeline.
Yeah.
But because to me, I don't really see him as a master. Like at least with Stellan, I understand why he is a master. But I don't want to discount Comac. But at any rate, I think Comac's sort of like little almost father-daughter moment I thought was okay. I thought it was cool, But I just wish that Vern were more OP. That's just kind of what I wish she was a little bit more overpowered. I'd be okay.
I will say they did not do her as great a disservice as I feel they did with Stellan, in that they made him physically as a combatant a very weak character, whereas Vernestra never really. I mean, she was the last one to fall to the stun attack. I mean, she is competent as a warrior. It's just mentally she's not quite there completely.
Well, I hate to say, but I think Stellan is the embodiment of the fall that's going to come into the Republic
I feel the same
as we know it in the prequels. And I hate that because I think that the guy could be super interesting, but I think he is there again more representative of the fall than the actual zenith of the High Republic, which sucks. And I think more the zenith is probably more represented by Elzar and Avar than it is Stellan. But I really wish I wish Stellan were different. But in this book,
because in the first book, they all are made out to be amazing masters, not just two. 100%. So it is kind of disappointing to see him fall behind them this much.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's talk about Nan, who is now a hero-worshipping murderer instead of like an actual layered character like she was in the first book.
Yeah, I don't like Nan anymore.
It
Personally. Nan
sucks.
was much better in the first book.
You know, I would. You know what? I would have liked a little mini book where Reeth and Nan meet back up and they have to do a mission and they sort of like maybe try and deal with feelings or maybe try and deal with, you know, the Jedi code and her code and then you can kind of have an adventure with them. I thought that would have been neat. But yeah, Nan, she worships Marchion Ro, which I find to be odd, and she doesn't seem to have an original thought in her head. It's just fight or flight. She's just a nihil. She's not
very
a
much
character.
a background character throughout most of this. I mean, from the beginning of the book on, the first confrontation when Marchion is talking to his Tempest and everything, it's like, oh, she's worried about how many people she might have to kill and how do I get out of this and blah, blah, blah. And then how do I flip-flop to survive here and there and her final offer. It's like you go through this entire book completely obsessed with Marchion, and then you turn on him so easily at the end.
Yeah.
It's
just,
it's disappointing.
That could be a saving grace, though, because she did walk away from Marchion.
Could be.
And we'll
could be better
see.
in the next book, sure.
She could also be double agenting, too, but I was disappointed in that. However, Jordana, I like her. Mm-hmm. I think she's probably the coolest character in this book. I would
have to agree. She's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So that was pretty welcome. Just to sort of, I wish we had a picture.
I know.
Like I wish somebody would just.
Out of all the characters that got pictures, I'm surprised she didn't. She's not human, correct?
Yeah. I mean, she's a Santeca. I assume.
Yeah, I thought she was like a halfling of some kind, though. I thought they mentioned.
I don't think so.
Some weird traits. I don't know.
Yeah, there's not even fan art. I guess it's too new. At any rate, I liked her. I thought she was an interesting character. She seemed like a very layered person, very laid back as well. Mm-hmm. Perhaps a little bit crazy. Very calculating. Yeah. maybe has that touch of crazy, which we all like.
Well, we see a touch of crazy.
Yeah, she had that Xena warrior princess throwy disc thingy with special gloves that just murder people and slice them up.
Yeah, which again, this is one of the reasons why I don't see it as a young adult's novel.
Yeah, but I thought she was neat. I'll tell you, at first I thought her and Syl's relationship was a little boring. It felt boring, but there was a scene. There was a part where they were in the cockpit of Xylan's ship, where they laid everything out. And I was like, oh, you know what? Actually, that is really well written and cognizant, and it makes a lot of sense. But it just seemed like so much of the early stuff was like, oh God, here we go. They're so boring. Just kiss and get it over with, you know. But then there was some depth there that I liked. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
Although I will say that Syl is like really thirsty for that relationship. Because even at the end when she learns you murdered everybody in here and like hacked their bodies to pieces, I don't care. I don't care what she did. It's all going to be okay. Please let it be okay. You know, it's like her back and forth seemed a little bit disjointed, but
yeah, I always hate that character arc where someone is so hopelessly in love that they'll just make really stupid decisions. I mean, there are people like that in the world. I get it, but she's such a strong, independent character outside of that. It's weird.
Syl is Padme on Tatooine after Anakin comes back from murdering all the sand people.
Jordana is Anakin.
I killed them all the Nihil. I hacked their bodies to pieces like Xena Warrior Princess. Oh my God, Jordana, it's fine. I promise it's fine.
And my cat did too. Which, by the way, that was also a funny thing. Whatever the name of her cat, dog, whatever thing.
Oh, yeah. The big cat that was kind of like the Chancellor's, but not.
Yeah.
What was it,
the
Emery?
fact that Emery was obsessed with that thing, like, you will be my friend. Emery, you're going to lose a hand.
I thought it was kind of fun. Emery is a big kid. Like, I think developmentally, he is so far so much more immature than Wreath or Vernestra.
Yeah.
He's like a little kid.
It's
but yeah,
almost endearing, honestly.
It is.
It goes back to the empath thing.
Yeah.
It really does fit. He's a very well fleshed out character in this book, I think, compared to his last book.
But yeah, I thought that. Yeah, I forgot about her cat. But yeah, I thought that was kind of funny that he just towards the end it like laid on his lap. And he's like, oh,
Yeah.
like that like the Andy from Parks and Rec meme. Oh. So I thought that was funny. It was a good, and I am glad that they got their comeuppance, they got their ship, and they were able to go off and do their thing together. I thought that was that was cute.
Yeah, I feel like they could have a decent little comic or short story of just them. I think that'd be great.
I mean, why not? I don't know about a comic because I think the comics are trying to be too grandiose right now. But yeah, have Justina Ireland just make a story about them off on it. You know what? You can't do that anymore, can you? You can't just have like short little fun side missions. It all has to be tied to the bigger plot. It's like
that's what was great about Legends. There were so many small books.
Yeah, it's like
so many good small books.
Well, I mean, in New Jedi Order, like what was the one? It was just the solo adventure with his buddy saving his people. Like it was just like a side quest. There was no Yuuzhan Vong, and it was just Solo and his new buddy after Chewie died on a mission. You can do that even in a series.
And the only thing that came out of that story was he finally forgave Anakin.
Yeah, true.
Which was important, but like you didn't have to have this big overarching narrative. It could be tiny, you know?
Yeah. But no, I'm glad that they wound up together. I thought it was cool, but give me a little short story with them. I think that'd be neat. And it would get Justina Ireland out there more in the universe. Why not?
Yeah.
You know?
You could tie it into something else easily, I'm sure.
One other thing that just came to mind, I looked over at the couple of notes I took. I thought it was funny when Xylan's bringing all these people to his pad for this sleepover where they're eating starch sticks in the diner, the diner before they go to the sleepover. It was like, this is such a teenage writing thing here.
Right.
Which, again, it's like you have that dichotomy between it's totally young adult and then, oh my God, there's so much dismemberment and murder that it's like it's not young adult. But then you have this sleepover and eating French fries, because that's totally what it is.
Right.
They're just eating French fries in a diner, slumped over, talking about their feelings. And then you have a sleepover with his chair dog.
Yeah.
It was silly, but it was funny. It tickled
It's also
me.
funny when Syl just gets completely drunk off of that crappy wine that she keeps complaining about.
Yeah.
And then the next day, half of the story is, why did you pick that outfit? I had so many dresses for. Are you hungover? Of course I'm hungover. And I'm not wearing a dress.
Yeah, again, I mean, like those sort of things, they add personality. I will say, the plot wasn't very interesting, but the story had personality.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
solely due to the characters.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But I think that's good. I think that's
at the end of the day, character development is what we're looking for in these books, honestly. And we haven't been getting a whole lot lately.
No. And then even, I guess we can talk about Marchion as well, who I think they turned into a giant fool. He's clearly being double-crossed. We all knew that Lorna, that was always going to happen.
Yeah.
We assume that Pan-Eta is going to come back at some point and cause trouble. And I feel like we're really, really close to the end of the Nihil. Like, they're going to tear themselves apart. And here's the other thing, too. What about his creature thing?
Yeah. Who knows?
What's it doing? Because right now, Marchion looks like a complete tool. Like a complete blithering idiot.
I wonder if that creature could be used against the Drengir.
Dude, I don't even want to talk about that. It was stupid. Okay.
It was.
We were talking before. It's like, I really hope that years down the line, I can look back at Rising Storm and say, okay, it wasn't that bad. But every time I think about like the sticking points, it is so bad.
It is.
Like, who
the
cares?
The sticking points for me are, let's obsess about a fair during a war. Oh my God, people are dying at this fair during a war.
I
Stellan
think
Geos becomes a baby. And we've got this stupid force creature thing.
I think we beat that to death. I don't want to beat it to death anymore, but I was just so disappointed. I was so disappointed in that book.
And it's kind of weird how they talk about. It's kind of weird how they talk about that in the timeline. It's weird because I feel like at the beginning they're talking about like the fair's about to happen, but then out of nowhere they mention it's like, oh my god, it's a great catastrophe. It's like, when did this?
Well, it was like a year after or something, wasn't it?
Right. I think so, maybe.
I think it was like it's supposed to be like a year after. I mean, all that I remember is Vernestra is now 17.
Yeah. Which they mentioned too many times.
They did. And I'll tell you, I mean, we being the detail guys, at least me, I definitely obsess about writing. And one of the things that you guys all know, because I tell you every time, I get really, really annoyed with repetitiveness. It hurts my soul. I can't stand it.
Well, and I feel like they can't think of any other ways to articulate a thought.
Yeah.
It gets annoying quickly.
Yeah. Saying the same, okay, I wrote this down, kinky hair. How many times do I need to hear kinky hair? Like, trust me, I have a picture of her. I get it. But
yeah.
Get a... what's the thing that gives you alternate words? A thesaurus?
Oh,
is that what it is?
Yeah.
Get one of those things, you know.
Or use
English.
a different descriptor altogether. Think of something else.
Don't
even obsess about talking about hair in 10 different ways. Talk about something else.
Yeah, or something like that. And that again is like, I felt like there was... I don't hate the book because it did have personality, and I actually came away caring about the characters. It was just the fluff story that I just didn't understand why this is a thing. It just didn't make any inroads for me. You know what I mean? I don't care about the Nihil. I don't care about them.
And I don't
want
care about
the
the graphs.
Drengir.
Honestly, I don't care about the Centecas or the graphs.
Yeah.
I really don't. Centecas
Yeah.
are okay. Graphs they're throwaway to me. I don't care.
Well, they're just
We
greedy.
are dealing with a sentient plant race that can just completely ruin your day. Why are we worried about everything else?
So the matriarch, Catronia? Catronia?
I forget how they pronounced it now.
You know, I wanted her to be so much more of a gangster, but she really wasn't. She was just an old lady.
She was a grandma.
Which sucked because I really honestly do think you missed the boat on her character. She should have been a gangster.
And the double cross, you saw it coming from a mile away, so it wasn't even
100%.
worth making her act that way.
Yeah, and really the story was predictable. But again, I appreciate the characters, and that's what I'm trying to hold my hat on. And you know what?
Usually for any young adults, that's how we end up feeling at the end of the book. Truthfully. I mean, story's never the strong point.
Yeah, I found my Big Hero 6 person. Basha was the name. Gregorian. They're Gregorians. And oh man, yeah, I remember this thing. Yeah, they basically look like giant white yetis.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
They downplayed that a little bit then. When you think about it.
I just thought of them as lumbering, fluffy things. But anyway,
yeah,
I just... And again, I don't want to be disrespectful towards the writer, but like, if you're going to focus on the graphs, you have to make that matriarch a gangster. If you're going to focus on, Marcion Rowe, who's supposed to be like this big bad guy, you got to make him a big bad guy. And if you're not, make Lorna D the big bad guy. But no, she's captured.
But it's her plan.
Yeah. Nan, I think I might be the angriest about Nan. I am so annoyed.
Nan could have turned into literally the new ruler of the Nihil.
And she might.
She had that kind of potential to me.
She might, but I'm annoyed. I don't like the characterization.
But now she's set up to be a contractor. What did they do with her again?
I think she's supposed to like go back to Marcion and basically be like a spy. I think that that's what they're setting her up for. And I feel like the idea will be for Wreath to come in and try and save her.
Sure.
But I don't think she needs saving.
That's not gonna set up good writing in the next book we see her in.
What she needs to be is Kira.
Yes. And that's
who Nan should be.
That's what I felt like in the last book she was in.
Yeah.
That's what she was set up to be.
Maybe there will be a change. I don't know. I just didn't particularly enjoy her portrayal here because she just seemed like a hero-worshipping child that the strength wasn't there that Claudia Gray wrote into her.
And she was somebody that things happened to. She did not control any situation. I mean, she literally was signing her death note over watching Lori Santeca.
Yeah, and well, here's the other thing too. You remember some of it where she was talking about drugs, like doing the drugs?
Yeah.
When I first viewed her character, I would have never thought that she. And again, I'm not bashing drugs. I'm not trying to do a PSA, but like her character that was in Into the Dark was in control, and drugs, most of the time, make you can take away some of your control. I wouldn't see her doing it. Or the other guy that we never remember that died in the first book.
Yeah.
You know, that guy.
I can't even remember the name of the guy who replaced him. Didn't he get blown up in this? Was he the one that died?
I don't know, man. I don't think so, but I don't know. But yeah, I was disappointed. Nan was the biggest disappointment to me. I wish that she would have been the Kira of this story, and then we could get a little book with her and Wreath doing a side quest. I just think that would be cool.
Yeah.
But nope, not going to happen.
It could, eventually.
I don't think it will be. All right, what else we need to talk about?
Are we forgetting any characters specifically?
Probably I don't care. I don't know, man.
None that stand out to me at this point.
No, I think we've hit the main characters. I mean, we like Jordana. I think she was a nice addition. Silvestri is interesting. Could be cool. Vern needs to get back to being OP. Emery has become very fleshed out. Wreath is cool again.
Mac is wasted potential.
But you know what? Comac gave off those dad vibes, and I appreciated the conversation. I think he did enough. I also thought it was funny when he got really angry about being knocked out. I thought that was funny too, as he was staggering around. Because like here's out of control, normally controlled manicured dad who is who is now out of control dad.
Yeah,
I just thought that was kind of funny. Yeah. We talked about Nan. We talked a little bit about Lorna. Talked about Chansey, matriarch of the Graphs, Xylan. I don't know. I think we've hit pretty much most of the characters that mattered.
Yeah, I'd
for
say
the most part. Let's hit ratings then. Let's do an
F5.
I brought up a couple. Let's see what the rest of the world is giving it. So Amazon has, out of 182 ratings, we have 4.5 out of 5 stars. Most of them, 65% being 5-star, 22 4-star. Not many 1-stars. So that's not too bad. Barnes & Noble isn't worth it. They only have 2 ratings. Nobody does Barnes & Noble anymore. Goodreads.
Who knows?
Goodreads is 4.06 out of 5 stars, with most of them being 4-star ratings. So about 43% being 4-star, only 1% 1-star ratings, 2% 2-star. So nobody going off the deep end. But yeah, 4.06, not bad on Goodreads. I think that was all I had pulled up here. So yeah, not bad. But yeah, we'll go out of 5. Go ahead. What are we going to give it?
I am going to kind of give this book a bit more of a pass than the last few, because I don't feel like any young adults book, the story is going to be the strong point. I typically think it's about characters. And in that field, I think they did really well. So I'm going to give it a 4.4. It was not a good story, but I really liked what they did with some of these characters. Vernestra not being one of them. I really like what they did with Emery. we have a couple of really great new characters with Syl and Jordana. I like what they did with their story, although there were some points where Syl seemed a bit too obsessive. To me, I feel like any book where I get 2 potential spin-off books I would like to see from it, I think that's a win. So, yeah, Vernestra is the only disappointment for me. Story didn't matter. So,
Okay. So I also pulled up Utini. So overall, Utini gave it an 8.4. So they do out of 10. So I don't know, pretty good there. I will have to say though, Utini tends to be pretty nice. I think.
yeah.
A good, great resource, but they tend.
We
to
really
be
haven't
really
had any
nice.
bad reviews for any of these books, to be honest, which is odd because no one's really, like, if you hear people talk about it on YouTube, not a lot of people like this whole High Republic thing, but the reviews are high.
It just, it depends on where you're looking for sure. So yeah, I guess for me, as far as rating, it was a good overall book with a kind of boring plot, predictable, but the thing that saved it was character and character development. We got some new characters that I really enjoyed. We got some return characters that weren't too bad. Obviously, Vernestra, I kind of would have liked to have seen in a little bit more of a bright light. I am getting a little bit nervous because it does seem like we're constantly going towards the fall of the High Republic instead of highlighting the High Republic, which kind of sucks to me. But yeah, I mean, I think overall it was good. What did you said 4.4? I don't know. I'm thinking about possibly a little lower. I was kind of thinking 4.25.
Okay.
Still a decent read. Overall, good book. It just needed a better plot, and it really needed to trim the fluff. I really felt like in a lot of cases, or a lot of times where I just felt like too much fluff. That's all.
Yeah.
Not bad. Just let's cut down on some of that crap. And I'll tell you what, I'm getting to the point where I almost think we're doing ourselves a disservice by going through the audiobooks. It's way more convenient, but I think that...
Is it fair to review a book based off of things that Audible does?
Yeah, I'm just... They're reading word for word. So the words are there.
Yeah.
But you don't set the pace because your mind's not doing it. I'm probably still going to continue Audible because I still have my credits.
Best way to do it. I've
Yeah.
got too many credits. I need to pause.
Yeah, for sure. No, I did that recently too. But yeah, I kind of wonder about that sometimes. But anyway, decent book. Could have used some polish, but nothing crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we are at the end of this book. Are we at the end of the episode? Is there anything else we need to chat about at all today?
One other note on just the final rating side of it I didn't mention. I'm not one to squirm away from violence, but I felt it was a bit kind of over the top being a young adult's novel. It was a little weird for me.
Yeah, no, I can agree. And we've talked about that a little bit. I do think it was a little bit gratuitous for a young adult. And
but other than that, I mean, yeah, it doesn't. I don't feel like that really changes the score for me any. I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah,
you know,
right. Yeah, I think we're both in the same boat there. Doesn't quite change anything, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So
Well,
on that
folks,
note, I think we're pretty much good to go.
Cool. Good. Well, folks, hopefully you enjoyed. We would love to hear what you guys thought of this book. You can interact with us on Twitter at TC Plan Podcast, on Facebook, or you can just write us an email to tcplanpodcast@gmail.com. Again, love to hear from you and just get your general observations or opinions. Obviously, you know, us being the detail guys, we have never once missed any detail. But if you do have some, please be sure to let us know. We actually do enjoy hearing from everybody and seeing what your opinions are. But yeah, I think that is it for this week. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your week.
And as always, may the Force be with you.